Couple of sevens here for Schutten. Had those eights earlier and took out Chris Brewer. Another pair for him here.
You have like 4, 8?
I think a little less than that.
Okay, good. Whatever. Thanks.
Nice one here for Zamani. The two biggest stacks could clash a little bit.
4 or 5-ish, somewhere in there.
10 seconds.
800.
Well, Zamani just going to come with it. 3-bet to 800,000. Really going to put the pressure on Schutten, and it's always good to be dealt a pair, especially when it's 5-handed, but those sevens do shrink up a little bit when, you know, the one stack that could ultimately take you out comes firing back at you. That said, I mean, if I recall some of our coverage of Schutten in the past, he's never really backed down at all. So,
yeah, what's the fun in that?
I'm not. I mean, no. Listen, it's great entertainment. Don't get me wrong. So I don't necessarily think that like a fold is 100% a given order here from him.
Schutten, of course, also aware of who he's up against, and what makes this even more fun is the fact that these are the two big stacks going head-to-head.
Look at this. He's going to call, and this pot is bigger than the stack of Kristen Foxton and Ren Lin. Okay.
Yep. Also,
here we go.
Schutten with a vulnerable pair. Zamani with a vulnerable drawing hand, but no longer the case as we have middle set versus the nut flush draw and 2 overs. We might see some fireworks.
Buckle up. Here we go. I would expect Zamani just to continue here as the pre-flop 3-better.
10 seconds.
And of course, I can't imagine Schutten is going anywhere. It just depends how he wants to play this one.
Yeah, Donnie, dive into that for me. What options does Schutten have here realistically?
I mean, call or fold. You know, he can, a little bit more conservative approach, can just call. You know, not necessarily that he's behind, but, you know, do you really want to play, what, a 9.5 million chip pot when your opponent could flop a flush here? Yes, of course. I mean, that'd be tricky. So he's just going to start this one off with a call and then see how it develops. Obviously, the ideal sense is you fill up on the turn, but...
Oh my God, he does fill up on the turn. The 8 pairs. Schutten with the check mark. No more danger from those hearts. Now, how much does this slow Zamani down?
I mean, I'm not sure how many just naked 8s you can give Schutten.
10 seconds.
And then, you know, the 8 pairing probably makes it a little less likely that your opponent flopped a set, because I think it would be most likely that the sets would be 7s and 8s, right? I think Zamani's probably going to continue to put pressure on here.
Seconds.
660.
And he goes for 660, setting up, at least in the eyes of Schutten, if we're just looking at ranges versus ranges, perhaps the right value for a river shove.
Yeah, this feels kind of one of those bets where, like, Zamani kind of wants to control the amount that goes in here because he still has a lot of equity, but also, in an equal sense, put pressure on some hands. If Schutten's got some 9s, some 10s here, I mean, there's a lot of pressure being applied. Again, do you want to play a huge pot, possibly for stacks, when this is the one guy that can take you out of the tournament when there's 2 shorter stacks, well, 3 shorter stacks, but 2 that are, you know, much shorter. And we can obviously see that, you know, Schutten's got it here. He's not going anywhere. So for him, it's, do you want to call? Do you want to possibly raise here? I think you can just comfortably just call, you know, make sure you keep all those bluffs in hands like Zamani has, with just the naked hearts in them. Maybe he can come along. Yeah, and he's going to do just that. So, of course, you know, you don't, there's that chance that, you know, you give him an out. Let's say he flops a flush. Not that he would fold it, but you do give him an out if you were to raise here or jam here or whatever. Just keep all that stuff in. You got a hammer lock on this one. So
I want to bet on what I think you should have.
4 million in the middle, and where Donnie mentioned on the flop that there was more money in the middle than Foxen and Lynn had. Right now, there's more in the middle than anyone has other than Zamani and Schutten as the third 8 hits on the river. How much will this scare Schutten?
Yeah, you're not really liking this card here. The chances your opponent does have the overpair. He's obviously now
10 seconds.
pulled ahead of you, and that's just no bueno, sir. So
All in.
Wow,
Look at this.
Zamani shoves all in, and Schutten now has to wonder, am I up against any other pair?
Card in the history of river cards.
And there he says it, the
Yes, it
worst
is.
river card in the history of river cards.
I mean, that's just an absolutely brutal river card for Schutten.
What a bet from Zamani. Schutten put to the test,
Show a bluff.
and he folds.
painful.
Zamani, show the cards, come on.
painful.
He shows the ace-queen.
Oh, wow.
Very lucky player.
good river.
Nice hand.
Thanks. Sort of.
I did think you had said, I swear